I'm going to resume recording. So this video will be available to you later on. Okay. Are you having difficulty listening to me? Difficult?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Are you good? Okay. Okay, so week 2 required readings is the place where you check out the reading items for that week. So please read. If you haven't already started reading this week, please read the following items. You should have already selected your memoir or thinking about your memoir right now. So under the syllabus, you're listed, you find the list with the memoirs. Okay, so I'm going there right now. The memoirs are My Beloved World, Still in Buddha's Dinner, Catfish and Mandala, Words Have No Borders, Me Talking Pretty One Day, The Glass Castle, and Nothing Ever Dies. So those are the choices for you, as in terms of selecting one of them as your semester-long reading assignment. Everybody needs to select one of these memoirs to read. Starting next week, I will put together a group project so that you'll be in groups, even in a group with people reading the same memoir with you. Okay, so other than that, please also read On Writing Well, and you can find the link to our books again under announcements. Okay, go to announcements, and then you see this post called links to our textbooks. Okay, so links to our textbook, you can find the link to the book On Writing Well here. So I'm clicking on the link to show you the book. Okay, here's the book. This book right here helps you with writing style. Okay, so going back to week 2 required readings, you also have the link to academic essay structure. So take a look at that. I'm opening it up right now. This one shows you the MLA formatted paper. Okay, so all of the essays for 1A must be written using MLA format, and it looks like this. So back to week 2 required readings, you have an MLA sample paper as well. Another link here that shows you how to format your MLA formatted paper. Okay, so here's the example here with detailed instructions on what to do for making your essay MLA formatted. Okay, so lots of useful links under week 2 required readings. Okay, and then there's this link on pre-writing and outlining. Okay, so this website discusses pre-writing exercises and outlining technique so that it becomes a resource for you when I ask you to do pre-writing and outlining. Okay? So when you have more time, please take a look at these resources. And here is a video on the essay structure at the basic level. Okay, so you can watch the YouTube video on this essay structure that we're talking about. And here's another video guidelines or hands-on tutorial on MLA formatting and talking about the basic stuff. So videos for you to watch, or websites or web pages for you to check out in terms of getting used to MLA format and pre-writing, outlining, and academic essay structure. Okay. When you are ready, click next, and you come to another online resource. And this one is a video that takes you through how to annotate an online text. If you are if you prefer to read things on paper, paperback, you can annotate it using a pencil. But if you are reading things online, like this class is online pretty much, you might want to figure out a way to annotate annotate readings. Like this book right here is online. As you read, it's a good idea. It's highly recommended that you annotate this book. Okay? It's for your convenience actually. It's for your learning. I don't require annotation. I don't check it, but annotation is expected at the 1A level. However, like I said, I don't check your annotation work. So this video shows you some technological ways to annotate online texts. Okay, once you are ready after watching that video, ignore this. I decided not to make you do this. So here is another resource on online study skills and managing time. If you already familiar with your own managing time management and you know online study skills well, you can skip it. But this resource lets you know a few tips and tricks on how to manage your time better while studying online classes. Okay, so you can ignore the stuff about Canvas profile for now. If you like to, you can add a picture on Canvas. Okay, your own picture on Canvas under account, but at this point I'm not requiring you to do that. Okay, like I have here on my screen under account, I have my picture with Dylan, my nephew. So that is an option, but it's not required. Okay, next. Click next, and you will come to yet another video. Or not a video, but a sort of like a little bit about how to. Oh, actually, there's a video on online discussions, and like I've stated, we do have weekly online discussions forum. Every week we have one of these discussion forum. So it's useful to know how to participate. This is like an etiquette kind of thing, like your etiquette on the online classes. So you can check it out or not, right? If you already know how, it's okay too. So finally, you come to week 2 discussions forum, and this one is graded. This one is I require you to post, reply, and do the tasks, right? So as you know right now, you should have a pretty good idea of how to do these tasks because you did week 1 already. But to refresh your memory, you just hit reply, right? And then just like Van has done, and you can name the task and then respond to them. And you don't have to do them in any order. You can choose to do this task first, or you can begin with this task. This discussion forum is loaded. It has a lot of tasks, and it's worth 40 points. Okay, it's due on the 11th, which is Sunday. Okay, and if you're having a hard time finishing this, just go ahead and post as much as you can, right? Just post as much as you can before the deadline, and then add more to your work later on. But do try to keep up with the class. Okay, so let me go over each of these tasks separately. So the first task is called annotation review and practice. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay, this is another attempt for me to convince you to annotate your online texts. And this is a tool. It says that this allows you to annotate any online internet page. It's a tool, right? So you can use it to annotate if or not. And what you want to do is to satisfy this task, to complete this task, you write and post a paragraph on how you would annotate your selected memoir and other required readings for this class. So you can write something like, oh, I plan on printing out the online books and annotate my assigned readings the old-fashioned way with a pencil. Or you can say, oh, I plan on using Genius Web Annotator. Okay? Genius Web Annotator for that purpose. Okay, so here are the links that I listed here are more resources, and I know that I've been bombarding you with resources. And if you have time, check them out. If not, you can just ignore them. So I've given you more annotation guides here, just in an effort to introduce you if you don't know how to annotate, or to refresh your memory if you already know how to annotate. Annotation is a fancy way of saying mark up your reading, mark up your book, right? Write on the margin, underline, highlight, things like that are underneath annotation. Okay, so any one of these guides will tell you what annotation is and is not. So at this point, this is an example of annotation right here, okay? The writing on the side right there, like this. This is your own notes on the margin. So for your memoir, you don't need to annotate. You don't need to show me your annotation, but you should annotate so that you can do a better job at the semester-long project. So I will introduce the semester-long project with your memoir next week. At this point, all you have to do is deciding which memoir to read. Okay, any of these memoirs will be worth your while. You learn a lot from reading them. Okay, so do simple searches on the web to see what they are, like My Beloved World. Okay, you can look at the picture, the cover of the book, and read some of the reviews online to see if you would like to read that book. Okay, so that's how you choose. And then if My Beloved World is not something you like to read, then go to the next one, Still in Buddha's Dinner. And then read and look at the cover, read some of the synopsis here to see whether you would like to find out more about the story, to read more about that book, and then decide.
I have a question. After the one that you state the paragraph,
yeah,
post and write them underneath. You put
this paragraph, right?
Yeah. So that is on the memoir, right?
Yeah, it's on the memoir, but also on other required readings for this class as well. So remember, we looked at week 2 required readings.
Yeah.
So those are required readings. Okay. I list a lot of required readings, but you just have to do your best and try to get them done as much as possible, so that you can do your assignments. That's what I meant. Go ahead.
So the paragraph, the one that I supposed to answer, the one that you highlighted, is that mean is based on what I just read or on my memoir, on the selected memoir?
Both on what you've just read and in the future when you're gonna read texts that are for this class, how would you annotate it? Okay. If you decide not to annotate, you can also say that. You can say that I take notes on my own notebooks, and I don't annotate my texts. You can also say that, okay, if that's what you do.
So if I were to annotate, which I did annotate because it's a digital copy, so I annotate on the actual thing. Do I need to submit that to?
No, you don't need to submit that. No, it's
Just like
annotation is
how
for
I
your
would.
own benefits.
Got it.
You know, annotation works in general to help you with the reading, but I'm not going to grade it.
Okay.
Right? I'm not going to look at it. Okay.
Okay.
But to earn credit for this task, you need to write and post a paragraph on your plan to use annotation
Got
or
it.
not use it.
Got it.
Do you understand that?
Got it. Yes.
Okay.
Then the first impression of your selected memoir, that the state 2 or more impression after reviewing them, and then predict what you will. That is for the memoir, right? Is that correct?
This is for the memoir and on writing well. It's for the memoir. Yeah, Fong, you're right. Annotation is a strategy, but I showed you the book on writing well, right? This is on writing well right here. So that task requires you to open up this book. You have to open it up. And do you know how to get here?
Yes, I got
Okay. So when you open it up, just look at the front cover, scroll down, and read. This is the back cover right here. This is the back cover, and read it to gain first impression of it, to see what this book is all about. Okay. Then for that task is state 2 or more impressions after reviewing them. So after reviewing your selected memoir, for example, Student Buddha's Dinner, you can say, oh my God, this memoir is so exciting because it's about, a rite of passage about a Vietnamese 1.5 generation woman trying to make it in America, blah, 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 right? And then on writing well on writing well looks promising because it has a lot of good tips, right? It teaches us how to become a better writer. So those are some examples of first impressions that you can type out, okay, after reviewing them, and then just post 1 or 2 sentences predicting what you will learn from each of these books. Okay, what do you think you will learn from after reading Student Buddha's Dinner? What do you think you will learn from after reading On Writing Well? Okay, so that's what you do for that task. Now the next task is Introduction to the Curious Writer. Again, you get to the Curious Writer under Announcements, click on the Announcements tab, and then click on the links to our textbooks, and then the link to the Curious Writer is right here. So click that and to open it up. And go ahead, use it. Okay, so you're gonna need to look at chapter 1 for this task. You have to post your responses to these questions, and you get the answers by looking at chapter 1 and the introduction to this book. For this book, okay. So scroll down and read chapter 1, or look at chapter 1 and find the answers for these questions. Okay. Then continue to find answers for number 2. Number 2 asks you to look at exercise 1 on page 5. You have to go to page 5 of chapter 1, and then do the exercise and post your beliefs about writing before and after reading this chapter. Okay. So some of the examples that you can put down are, you can say something like, before I read this chapter, I didn't think of writing as a process. I thought writing was a product. But after reading this chapter, I know that writing is a continual process. That writing doesn't stop after you produce the final draft. Okay, and then you can say something like, "Oh, before reading this chapter, I was under the impression of not being a curious writer, that I wasn't exactly curious about anything. But this chapter enables me to learn more about inquiry. Inquiry is being curious, is being curious about a controversial topic. Okay, so those are some of the examples that you can put there for number 2, and then number 3 is this big picture right here. This picture sums up the idea of inquiry. Okay, so answer those questions. What do you notice when you look at this picture? What surprises you about this figure? What does it reveal about the inquiry process and approach? So state your responses to those questions for number 3. And number 4 is write into discussion questions, okay, about this chapter. You don't have to provide your own answers as a state here. The questions allow other people to discuss. So Van has probably did something with it. So she asked 2 questions, okay, here. So in your reply to her, you can choose to respond to one of these questions or not, or you can choose to respond to anything that she wrote, okay, that she posted. All right, so that would be the end of that task. And do you have any question before I go on?
No, I'm good.
Okay, now the personal essay task is an introduction to the personal essay using inquiry approach. Okay, it's different from any personal essay that you might have written before. Okay, so please watch this video. This is Bruce Ballinger, our writer, the writer, the author of our textbook, The Curious Writer, right? That's Bruce Ballinger right there. Okay, he's the one who wrote this book, Bruce Ballinger. And watch him and hear what he has to say about the personal essay. Okay, and then write and post a short paragraph reflecting your experiences writing a personal essay. Have you written a personal essay before? Okay. Okay, how has your previous personal essay, how might it be different from the personal essay that you are about to write for this class under inquiry approach? Okay. Then pre-write to generate ideas for your personal essay based on the inquiry approach. Okay, and it must be connected to your controversial topic. And this you did already last week. Okay, you chose a controversial topic. So how is your how will you write a personal essay that would connect your controversial topic to it? An example would be, for example, I might choose student debt as my controversial topic. So my personal essay can explore how this controversial topic has been affecting me and the controversy surrounding this topic, and how the policies are changing, making it much more difficult for recent college students to take out loans, and that increases the barriers to education for many unfortunate college students. And I see that this controversial topic is affecting my nephews growing up. I know in a few years they might not be able to go to college based on the increased interest rate and the restrictions recently imposed on student debts, and the greed that most banks have begun to collect, begun to have to maximize their profits off of student debts. So those are the ways in which that I can brainstorm, right? Pre-writing is generating ideas for my personal essay. So this task is asking you to pre-write. So you need to post your pre-write. And remember that pre-writing, you have a few options, right? You can brainstorm. You can brainstorm as you pre-write. You can free write. You can list. You can cluster. Okay. You can ask questions and then answer them. Those are some ways in which you can pre-write. Is that clear? Is this task okay for you? Are you confused? Are you good on this task?
Try.
Huh?
I will try.
What you're gonna try? So at this point, just do your best, right? Break up the tasks. Don't do them all at once. So maybe today, after the meeting ends, maybe you can do one or two of them, and then tomorrow do another two, and then Sunday, don't do all of it at once because you're gonna get overwhelmed. Okay, and try your best, and if you cannot get them all done, that's fine too. You just need to try next week. Okay, so the last task, well, this is the last task. This is the next task. The last task is to post and respond to other students. So this test on the exemplars, this is another attempt to help you with your own personal essay. Okay, so these are exemplars. Exemplars means perfect example. This word means perfect example. Okay, so exemplars are here for you to look at. I have included a student sample and then 3 other professionally published exemplars for the personal essay. Now just take a look at them and see what you have learned from just looking at them. Okay, so one example that one way you can do this is you can say that in this student sample, you saw how the student connected her controversial topic to her personal life, and it reveals that she selected a controversial topic that meant a lot to her, that she struggled with, that she wrestled with, right? So she chose a topic that personally she connected to. So that's something that you can write down for your takeaway. Okay. Now you can do maybe 1 or 2 takeaway from looking at these exemplars. So let's see what Ben has done. Okay, she wrote that the exemplars show how she should reflect, discover, and reflect again when writing the personal essay. So this is right on, right? This is really poignant. That shows me that she knows what inquiry approach is. She knows what being a curious writer means. Okay, to put my focus more on the questions the event brings up rather than experience itself. Okay, so that also shows me that she knows, she has understood the book, the textbook, The Curious Writer, and she knows how to approach the personal essay inquiry based more. Okay, so I think Van is ready for her personal essay. Okay, if you don't have if you're still running into any issue with one of these tasks, maybe you can read Van's post. That might give you some ideas on how to respond to your own tasks, right? Your own way. So after you have done at any time, it doesn't have to be after, before or after or during your posting of your own work, you can respond to your classmates. So just click reply after then, for example, and then say something like, after reading your post, then I learned that what I should do for my personal essay, being a you know, focusing on questions rather than simply the events, like you stated. Something like that, you know, something that goes beyond this. Okay, so try to go beyond that. You can say that, but state why. State why you agree with Ben. Okay, so that as responding to other students will enable you to get full credit. In addition to posting some sort of responses to each of these tasks, and this would be the end of week 2 assignments. Okay, what question do you have at this point for me? Any questions? Okay, so like I said, you should break up your tasks and do them. Break them up, chunk them. Also, I will be online again tomorrow at 5. So you can also come join me online and ask your questions if any comes up. Phone, do you have any question for me? Wow, your place looks really nice. Phone, very clean. I like that. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end the meeting now. So if you have more questions, you can contact me via inbox or my email or my text number or join me online on Zoom. I hope that this has been helpful to you. And good luck getting your assignment in. Okay, you're welcome. So I will see you later. Have a good weekend ahead.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.